Then he raises an eyebrow. Leave? What the hell you gonna do with that, Jackson? Got yourself a civvy boyfriend in town? That's a negative, sir. I feel the need for some fresh air all of a sudden. Sergeant Sobieski studies her face for a moment, his own expression sour, as always. Then he shakes his head and sits down behind his desk. I sure as shit can't use you for anything before battalion gets around to your psych eval and lets you near a gun again. He consults the MILNET terminal on his desk. You got 5 days accrued, Jackson. You want to take 'em? If it's okay with the platoon, sir. Sergeant Sobieski hacks away at the keyboard with 2 fingers, an activity he clearly finds distasteful. Then he taps a button on his terminal's touchscreen and leans back in his chair. I'm the platoon right now, Miss Jackson, and I don't care. God knows you've all earned a few days of drinking and whoring around for that clusterfuck in Detroit. Go over to the company clerk and give him the date you want for your leave. Thank you, sir, she says, and salutes again. Now get out and stop bugging me, the sergeant says, as he returns her salute casually. The next morning, Jackson puts on her little-used Class A uniform instead of the far more comfortable ICUs. She'd much rather wear the fatigues. The Class A looks a lot more presentable, but feels a lot more stifling. But she obeys the regulations and puts on the dress smock. After breakfast, she walks across the base to the aviation section. A soldier on leave can hitch a ride on military transports, provided they have a free jump seat in the cargo hold. Some soldiers spend a good chunk of their leave waiting for rides, but Jackson has no problems getting a seat on an eastbound transport shuttle right away. She spends the morning hopping across the eastern half of the continent on a succession of shuttles. Finally, after stops at TA bases in Kentucky, the Chicago Metroplex, and upstate New York, she finds herself at Burlington, a small TA air base on the shore of Lake Champlain. The base has a public transportation link right in front of the main gate. As a soldier, Jackson gets certain perks in the civilian world. She can eat at any government facility with a chow room, military bases, public administration centers, transit worker canteens. She can also ride the maglev system for free just by scanning her military ID in place of a regular ticket. She walks into the terminal building past the uniformed security guards at the door. Her TA smock gets her respectful nods. She has no doubt that coming up here in her old ratty civilian clothes would have meant a security inspection and on-the-spot interview instead, to make sure she has a good reason for being up here and a form of payment sufficient for a maglev ticket. She pulls a ticket with her ID and gets on the regional maglev to Liberty Falls, just 10 minutes away. The town is clean, tidy, middle class. No high-rises anywhere in sight to spoil the view of the green mountains which surround the town. It looks like a different world from Dayton, never mind Detroit. Jackson came to Liberty Falls with only a last name for a lead. The military-issue PDP in the pocket of her uniform trousers only talks to the MILNET, which doesn't interact with any of the civvy data networks. She can check obscure news from backwater TA units or look up any number of regulations and manuals. But the PDP won't let her so much as bring up a schedule for the hydrobuses berthed outside the transit station. She's almost ready to ask a local to borrow their personal data pad for a moment and rely on the respectability her uniform seems to convey in this middle-class enclave, when she sees a public library up ahead at the corner of the green. The library has public access data terminals. She walks in, sits down in front of one, and brings up the public and private networks directories. There are 8 net nodes in Liberty Falls belonging to